back to week 2 of the Catboat project. Last week, if you go back to the video, we milled up the material for this rub rail on the boat, which is the white oak material. So today I'm going to try to keep moving along and remove the original piece so I can start to put on the new rub rail that we made. So first step I'm going to do is sand and expose where the screw holes are, so I can start dismantling and taking this off. Okay, you'll see that I've got a couple of different things going on here. This is me, because I knew I was going to fix this. This is the third or fourth repair I've tried to do on this, which is why I'm taking it off. Originally, they had wood plugs in this, which I will put the new one on with wood plugs. But because it was painted before and chipped and rotted and replaced and everything like that, I knew I wasn't going to keep it varnished when I did the repair. So there's actually some putty in here. So I'm going to use my drill bit, take out the putty, use this little tool. It's just sort of like almost like a dental tool, if you can see that. And then I'm going to pick all of that out, and hopefully then I'll just be able to take a screwdriver. I'm assuming it's a Phillips. And I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around. So we'll do the first one with you, and then after that I'll stop the camera and I'll get all the other ones done and ripped off. So that came off pretty easy. See if that will come out. So pretty nasty in here. This is going to take me a little while. All right, I'm going to call the drill extractor, the speed out, a failure. I don't get it. I'm supposed to use, if I read the directions right, I put this in here, I drill out the bad screw like this, basically drill out the threads, which I did, then I put this in, and I extract it. I got nothing. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to keep going with my... So I'm a little bit disappointed. I don't know if anybody's ever used those before. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know. Always wanted to try it, and I tried it, and right back to where I was before. So the best thing is I got most of them out, and the best way that I've done that is I've used my dental tool to clear out anything that's inside that Phillips head. These are stainless steel screws, and then I just work it by hand or work it with the electric drill bit. I got almost all of the screws out here. I just got a couple sort of Pecksky ones, so I'm just going to take those off and I'll rip it off. So anyway, a little bit disappointed with that tool. All right, so all these screws are done. It must have been glued on there, which I'm going to do the same. So hopefully I'm going to take my old beat up chisel and then just start whacking it off like that. That's all I needed. And what I've decided to do is any of those screws, like over here, spin you around, there's a screw right there. I'm just going to peel it off, and then I'm just going to grab a pair of pliers and pliers and just back screw that off. So I'll get this all stripped and cleaned up, and we'll get to the next step. Alright, I'm going to show you all a trick. This is one of those strip screws. Doesn't work every time, but it's a lot quicker if you can get it to work. So you take your drill, your regular drill with your hand chuck on it, and you just put that chuck on there, and you tighten it like you were tightening on a screw. It's tight, then I can back it off like a regular screw. Okay, now that the rub rail's off, I'm just going around and cleaning up that old silicone that was underneath there. And I think that's probably what I'll put back. I thought about gluing it, but this is, gosh, it's supposed to 2000, so it's 23 years old. And the silicone that was on there was just fine, so why should I do anything different? All right, so the next piece I've thought actually long and hard about because I've got to drill holes, obviously, to put that new rub rail all the way around. And so I thought long and hard about, do I try to match the existing holes that were in there? And the problem with that is I'm not going to be able to get it perfectly aligned from the new material to the old screw holes, and that might mean that it would be a little too high or a little too low, and I wouldn't be able to establish a nice parallel line all the way across and have the same reveal off of the top of this boat. So I've decided that even though I'd like to, because I hate putting new holes into things, if I don't have to, especially in fiberglass, you can never take a hole back. So it always makes me nervous. But what I've decided to do, abandon the old holes and just get everything lined up, pre-drill on my drill press, which I'll show you in this material here. I'm going to pre-drill a bunch of holes right along the top of here, if you can see where I'm porting in my hand, and then I'll have pilot holes for where the plugs will go in. I have a plug cutter, and then that way I'll be able to line the piece up, pre-drill it, and screw it into the boat, and that'll help me to adjust it back and forth. So what I've done to make myself feel a little bit better here is I've mixed up some epoxy. This is actually, it's just what I had kicking around. It's the West System G-Flex epoxy, which is made for like flexible applications, but this will work just fine. Then I'm just going to take an old screwdriver, and I'm just going to run along the boat and putty up, put some epoxy into the existing holes, just to make me feel better, like I've sealed up the old ones and we won't get water inside there. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so the next step is that I need to pre-drill these holes. This is the old piece, and I want to match that. This old piece was screwed roughly about 8 inches on center. They're all a little bit different. Some are 7.5, some are 8, but generally they're about 7.5 to 8 inches. So I'll probably do 8 inches apart, and I'm going to use my drill press. I might actually set up a jig so I don't have to worry about it going this way. I'll use a test piece. I'll mark that material on the test piece, and then I'll pre-drill it. For my drill options, I'm going to do 2 things. Nice thing about using a drill press for this is I can set the depth, so I make sure I have the exact same depth all the way through. I'll probably use a countersink bit. I'll play with my bits a little bit. I have a couple just regular DeWalt, pretty good shape, all-purpose drill bits that I'll use to go that. And then what this is, I picked them up from Harbor Freight, which is pretty cool. These are plug cutters, and I'm going to get some of the scrap material that I have and make a whole bunch of plugs so that I can make little dowels to put into it. So I have not really done too much with plug cutters and dowels, so it'll be a little bit interesting for me. Well, I'll just start going and see where I get to. All right, now we got it lined up, ready to go. I'm going to put the holes all the way down this piece. Hope I do it right because I only got one shot. I think I have it set up for the next depth. you can't see there's a little measurement on where my crank is to bring it down, but the idea is we did that first pilot hole, and then I have this set as a certain height, and I can boom. And then you'll see I was a little off center there because I was just trying to show you guys how I was going to do it. And you can see it just went in about 1/4 of an inch to material. So that's how I'm going to set this up. So I'll do a single smaller pilot hole, and I'll do it 8 inches apart across the whole piece. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'll go back in with this 3/8 inch drill bit, which is going to coincide with the 3/8 inch plug cutter. And this is going to be the hole that I'm going to use to fasten to the boat. Okay, we're going to close the loop on this thing. Got all the holes pre-drilled on this one side. I'm going to show you how I'm applying it to the boat for the first step. And I think that'll close up this video until we start getting onto the interior. So if I swing you all around, you'll see what I'm doing. So that's that piece, and I'm temporarily putting it in place. I'm going to set the screws in place, and then I'll take it all off, put probably silicone or maybe like a construction adhesive on the back side, and then do the final screwing. But you can see that it's going to work out pretty well, and I'm pretty happy about it. Let me get down to that edge, and I'll show you how I'm lining it up. Basically, you can see some old marks where the top of the rail used to be. So I'm using that as my sort of pencil guide. And then I'm just working my way down. So I have 2 drills set up. So I'm going to put this drill in place. I know you guys are seeing those deck screws and probably some boat people screaming at me. But I don't have a marine store close to me, and these are supposed to be waterproof and perfect, so might be a really bad idea. Anyway, so I'm lining it up until I get to the right height. I'm using my single drill. Okay. Pre-drilling it, I usually do a little bit steadier hand than that, but I'm trying to do this one-handed so you can see it. Then holding it back up into place, and ever so carefully screwing in the deck screws. And that's it. Hello. Okay, I've come up to an interesting spot. I knew this was coming up, but I didn't know exactly how to address it. And I kind of had an idea, and this is what I think I'm going to do. So you can see this is one of the points where the stays from the mast come down and hold up. And this needs to be notched in its place. I didn't want to try to pre-cut this because I knew I would never get it any close. So how am I going to do this in this tough situation? So you can see this has to be notched out. This is also tapered so that this can come and sit flat against the boat. I think I have an idea. Give me a second. This is what I think I've come up with. So I've got my coping saw, and I've flipped the blade around backwards. Normally the teeth are on this side. I've put the teeth on the inside. And then what I'm going to do is slide this down here. You can see the idea. What I'm trying to do here is I'm going to create a notch. And then I'm going to take my chisel and chisel up to that point. And I'm going to do each side. So you guys don't need to see me struggling with this blade any longer. So I will cut the other one. and then I'll do that one, and then I'll come back with the chisel, and we'll see if it fits. Got my notches cut, so now I'm gonna try to ever so carefully. The camera's gonna be kind of fighting me here. I'm gonna go back in with my chisel and chisel that notch out. I'm hoping you all can see that, but here's the notch I put in, following that pencil line, and this is what it has to fit around. I am pretty happy, because watch this. See that? How that fit? Do that again. That is pretty awesome. Super happy about that. Give you one more view of why this is important. You see that? This is another situation I'm going to try to, maybe you guys can see this. I'm having trouble taking this off. I was going to try to unbolt it, but it's through bolted, and I can't really get to that panel on the inside without great difficulty. And I just need this to push in, but clearly if it gets in the way, so what I'm going to have to do is pre-cut this. And so what I'm doing here is using my pole saw, and I'm gonna end up having to cut this anyway, but I want to get this close with my pole saw. Okay, we are in the home stretch. You see how I've got that nice and put up against here. Still have one more screw to put in on the end, but I want to make sure I get this fitted before I put that screw, so I don't put the screw right in the center where I'm going. So I matched, you can't see it, but on the other side I matched where the original one was, and then I lined it up. And now what I'm doing is, again with this pull saw, see the cut I just made. Now I'm gonna eyeball this very last piece here from an up and down. So hopefully I didn't just catch the side of the screw, because I'm going for it. The next thing I'm gonna do is get that 3/8 in bit to countersink that. Okay, I'm just going to quickly show you the plug cutting process. So this is just a piece of the scrap that we got the original material from. This is a 3/8 inch plug cutting bit. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to go through the process. You're not going to see the whole thing because you won't want to see 24 holes done this way, but this is my process. Alright, we'll do 2. Alright, here we are on the other end. And you're going to take this plug, match the grain in the right direction. I actually want to get a little bit of a bigger plug. So I'm going to redo this again, but this will give you an idea. And then you'd glue that into place and sand it. And here's the other one that I did. And anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to glue those, pound them into place, and then I'll sand them off. All right, everybody, I'm going to try to do this selfie thing here, standing by myself. So I've gotten a little bit jumbled up in the order of the videos here, but I wanted to close this one up before we went to the next step on this. I had to stop and start because I was working on the bumper of the truck. You can go check out that video that was released just prior to this one. But I wanted to show you where we were at. I don't know if I'm going to stay in this video as I move the camera around, but here is everything plugged up, ready to go. And if I switch my hands, apologize for that, I'm going to walk you around the corner because I have one over here that'll show you what it looks like after it's been trimmed, and sanded. So the next step really on this boat is to sand all the rest of them down, get some sandpaper and round this off a little bit nicer, and then it's ready for finish. Now what I'm going to do prior to that, and you're going to see in the next video, I've got some cardboard boxes left over from the bumper. It's time to now start replacing this, which you're going to see in the next couple of videos. Here's this material ready to go, made for that. So a little bit of a preview for the next video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hope you're enjoying the project, and we'll catch you on the next one.